don't let her get a hold of your hand. She's probably looking for her breakfast because she didn't get to eat too much outside.
She was not happy to come with me.
What do you think? I know what you want. She said, "Oh, great." What do you think, girl? So Zoe is 16 months old.
Oh, so she's a babe.
Yes. And they don't really mature until they're about 2 years old.
So is she looking at you and she's like, I know you're right there.
Not really. She always just kind of does that as she's eating. She'll just kind of get a bite and then just kind of stare off into space and eat it.
So how much does she weigh?
She weighs about 11 pounds. And that's right after she goes to the bathroom. So before she goes to the bathroom, she can get to be up to like 15 pounds.
Oh, wow.
This is not for you, buddy.
Yeah. No, that's so
It's
sweet.
not. It's not for you. What are you doing? So this, when they're young, they get this rice mixture, which he loves, but he does not need.
Yeah.
So most of the time, if we give him some of that rice mixture, he'll eat that until he's
Okay,
full.
please get that.
But then he doesn't want any more.
Look, he is
He
trying.
doesn't want any more vegetables.
He is trying. Is he trying to hang on to you?
He's trying to pull my arm up to him. But, so in this mixture, it's a mixture of brown rice, shaved up sweet potatoes, and a really high quality dog food that's soaked and then mixed all together. And that's what they get for their protein source up until they're 2 years old. And Zoe explores a lot with her mouth like a 2-year-old. And so that's probably what she was doing earlier when she went to grab a hold of your hand, which is just seeing, what you are. She does explore with her mouth, but she's got sharp teeth, so you gotta, not let her get a hold of you.
Yeah.
What do you think, girl?
Do they play a lot?
No, so sometimes Splash will reach down like that because he's looking for vegetables, and then Zoe will see him and kind of reach back up and they'll do a quick little high five. But then after that, they're both like, oh, that's not what I was wanting. I was just looking to see what you are. And they both kind of pull away pretty quickly.
You haven't figured it out if you want to hold me, hug me either. It's okay.
I think
He's totally gonna come in. Hello. Hi.
He says, you have food for me?
I don't have food. I don't. You're cute. Hi. Oh, you. Yeah.
And you can still, if you want to offer him some more of that's in his bowl there, he might have found his appetite again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes he gets
So he's
jealous.
like, what is that?
Let's see if I can get some smaller ones for her. And if you wanted me to get a picture of you guys both in the same frame too, sometimes when he lowers down like that and he's like real low, you can get, right how I was standing right beside him, and you can get a pretty good picture that way. So if he does that again.
She is trying to get my hand.
Okay. What are you looking for? You have no appetite, but you're nibbling on hands. Really?
That's not what I wanted.
Babe, do you want a picture?
Yeah, you want a picture with standing next to him?
Let's see if he'll come down. Hey!
Sometimes. Let's see if I can
Oh, he's
there
going.
we go.
Babe.
You have 2 sloths hanging on to your clothes.
Okay.
And they're just super appetizing.
What is happening? Oh, there's something in
Yeah,
here.
she tends to do that. She explores a lot like a 2-year-old, and that's with her mouth a lot of times. And she, for whatever reason, is obsessed with that pocket. I don't know if somebody has spilled
Oh, man.
some food or something in there.
No. I don't know what. Oh, look, Zoe's like, what? Where? I
I
don't want her to go all the way back.
She's got really good core strength, so she won't fall as long as you have your hands underneath her booty. And sometimes if you scoot her up too, she'll snuggle in a little bit better like that.
Oh, hi.
And so that is her happy place, but like I said, she explores like a 2-year-old, so sometimes she looks around and does other things.
Hello there. That was so sweet of you. That's so sweet. Yeah. I like you too.
So Zoe came from a totally different situation than Flash did. So we both got Zoe and our baby Dash from the same breeder, and he's basically the biggest supplier for all of like the zoos and places like that around the United States that has sloths. They pretty much all came from him. He's got a lot of sloths, and he has an ambassador program within all of that, where he has specific mothers that tend to, they're clicker trained basically. So he has a clicker, and they know that when they hear that clicker noise, that the mother gets a little bit of a treat, and the breeder will borrow baby for just like 10-15 seconds, and then give baby right back to mom. And so it's always a positive interaction that they have with the babies, and so the babies never get stressed out, neither do the mothers. And so as they grow and as they get a little bit older, the time that the breeder spends holding the baby will slowly increase as well, up until when the mother weans the baby completely around 4 or 5 months old. That baby is used to being held by people for upwards to 30 minutes to an hour a day.
Wow.
And they're completely fine with that. And so before they leave to go to their next home, they go through a final ambassador test. And not all babies, most of the babies, but a few babies won't pass that. And that means that they really just tolerate being held by people rather than actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
But to pass the ambassador test means that they have to actually genuinely enjoy the time that they spend with people, and Zoe does.
Oh, I love that.
If we were to walk in there and not pay her too much attention, not
She
go
would be
try to pick
upset.
her up, yeah, she would start making little whining noises and coming at you through the trees. And the same way when I go to pick her back up, when I
Hey,
set
don't let
her.
Flash go. Somebody outside thinks they have a 10:30 encounter. We're figuring that out.
Okay. But yeah, so Zoe came from a totally different situation than him.
So her clenching her claws, is that normal?
Yes.
Okay.
It is, and I meant to say that earlier too. If she gets too tight, you can just tap her foot and she should loosen up. So like I said earlier, that their relaxed state is clamped down like that. So she's just not thinking about it. Most of the time when she's clamped, that's because she's comfortable. And for her to actually have to think about loosening up, she's got to think about that. The same way as we would have to think about clamping down onto a branch. But this is just normal for us. It takes no energy.
Do you want to hold her? She's so comfortable right now.
Mm-hmm. That is her happy place. And so when she was a baby, when we first got her, she spent the first year of her life at the main house in the owner's bedroom. And so she was always on Donna. Donna was her comfort person, and while she was doing paperwork and doing the virtual sides of things, Zoe was just on her all the time. And so because of that, she got so attached to Donna that she can't really come down here and do these encounters anymore, because if she were to be in the same room as Zoe,
She would only want.
exactly, Zoe would she could care less about you, she's just trying to get to Donna.
What are you doing?
She just gets curious, looks around, sometimes she grabs onto the wood over there underneath the sink, the cabinets. What are you doing, girl?
Yeah.
What are you doing? She said, I smell something.
I'll take it. Do they have a lot of encounters?
So Flash only interacts
In
for
the
first,
mornings.
in the morning for an hour. And then Zoe and Dash, neither one of them encounter for more than 2 hours a day total. And that's not 2 hours back to back, it's spread out throughout the days. Zoe's single encounter for Zoe is no longer than 30 minutes. Sometimes she'll have one right after that, so she'll be held for an hour. But then she'll have a long time in her enclosure to be able to just chill, decompress, do whatever she wants to do until the next people come in for her. And so most of the time she'll have an encounter in the morning from 10:30 to 11, and sometimes she'll have one from 11 to 11:30. And then she's up until about 2 o'clock, and then around 2 o'clock she might have another encounter or two. The same way with Dash. So he's a baby, he's just 8 months right now. So his encounters are 20 minutes long. And sometimes people will book 3 back to back to hold him for an hour, but then he'll be done for several hours before he does any more interactions. So.
Hi. Are you comfortable? Yeah. So when you don't have encounters, do you just have them out playing? And
Not all the time. So if they have pretty much a fully booked schedule for the day, I'll let them do their own thing. But a lot of the times they are creatures of habit. And so if we have first thing in the morning from 10 to 10:30, we have an encounter with Flash. She knows most of the time. She was already awake when I went in there because she knew we were out here talking about Flash, and she knew she was probably going to be next because that's usually the routine. But if for whatever reason, if you guys were to have just booked a sloth encounter with Flash and not done her right afterwards, then, if I have downtime, I'll go in there and hold her just because it kind of gets her hopes up. She knows that somebody's about to come in and hold her.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't happen, she's still just kind of looking around like, where'd everybody go? So they do get pretty much their schedules down. They're pretty routine animals. And so you have to research and be careful about booking with places that advertise their sloth encounters as drop-in sloth encounters. Because if that facility is open for, X amount of hours, those sloths don't know from anywhere between there.
Sparku in here?
Kevin got him.
Huh?
Kevin got him. And they don't know, how long they're going to be interacting with. And since sloths sleep so much, that they need to have time for that. They need to have time for themselves, just to decompress and do whatever they want to do. But if it was up to Zoe, she would be happy with holding on to somebody for, much more than 2 hours a day. That's what she did all the time when she was a baby because she wanted to.
Yeah.
Anytime that Donna would go to put her back down, she'd be going, woof, 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 and
So
reaching
does
back
Donna
up.
still come and see her?
She does occasionally, but she can't really do the interactions like this with people because if she heard Donna in here talking, she'd just be trying to get to her.
Yeah.
So
That's so sweet.
we're trying with our baby Dash to make sure that he's down. When he's down here, I'm the sloth keeper now, and so most of the time it's my job to feed him. But I try to delegate. If somebody's not doing something, I'm like, hey, you want to come feed Dash? Just so everybody has an experience with him and he gets used to everybody and several different people and different energies and things
It's literally
like
like
that.
a baby.
Yeah, it is.
So we had a little scheduling thing, so we'll let you guys go in there with Zoe.
Okay.
He'll do Flash for a little bit,
Okay.
and then once you're done, can you bring Dash down?
Yeah. But I thought his wasn't until 12.
But it's because we've kind of ran over.
Oh.
So.
I'll want to take her from you for just a minute and we'll move our party into her enclosure. We'll be right back out. Go here. Here we go. So if you want to just grab that chair for me, we'll bring that chair and everything in here.
This is like a Delta flight. Don't worry, we didn't want to do this, guys. No, I'm just kidding. We're nicer. Alright, you're good. Go ahead, come on in. And there he is right away. Pretty cool. We're gonna get some veggies out for him. See what he wants to eat. And this is Flash. Only a couple of rules. The main ones are don't put your fingers in his mouth.
Okay.
So we don't want to lose any fingers. And then we're gonna do a little bit of these veggies and see if he wants to eat them. You can try this one. Sometimes he's in the mood for it, sometimes he's not. No on that one. Let's try sweet potato, and you can just toss that one back in there. Oh,
No.
he's stuck.
Do you have a radio?
We'll give him a minute. Sometimes he's gotta chill. So Flash here is 7 years old, almost 8. He weighs 15 pounds. He is a two-toed Linnaeus sloth. Before here, he was always like behind a window, never really interacted with, and it took over 2 years of just feeding him every day at 10 for him to be willing to do this.
Dang.
Yeah.
Some people say more awake when they ever see them sleeping.
Oh yeah. So they do sleep about 15 to 20 hours a day, but right now is, you know, his kind of eating time. So he's like, okay, I'm down here to chill and hang out. And,
Yeah. So normally go to sleep after?
Yeah. He'll go ball up. So his enclosure is right here, and it's 2 stories and it goes up.
Yeah.
And then also when it's warm, which like today, we'll open up that back door and you can go outside if you want.
Oh, nice.
He kind of moves around, and sometimes he goes in and out. Sometimes we leave this door open. They eat about 10% of their body weight every day. They use the bathroom every 7 to 10 days, and when they do that, they lose 30% of their body weight. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah.
Did he have the name Flash before he
No, he was named that before.
Yeah. Am I able to pet him?
Oh yeah.
The Addison? Addison, do you have a radio?
So the big thing with petting them is
Sorry,
just
what's
do
your
long,
name? I'm
slow
on the car.
pets.
Oh, okay.
Everybody always wants to do like the cat scrunch,
Yeah.
but that's like what they don't like.
Okay.
They're just kind of long. So, and you can do it the front of your hand, but sometimes I tell people the back so they don't.
Okay.
The only other real rules are don't do it on the belly, even if he's like hanging down and you're feeding him.
Uh-huh.
His belly will be out and you'd be like, oh, that'd be so cute to pet. Don't
Yeah.
do it because he'd be like, stop.
Okay.
And they're kind of sensitive on their paws.
Oh, okay. Paws are big.
They are. And his claws are going to keep getting bigger too. I
Yeah.
call it kind of like God's crescent wrench.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Do you have to cut them?
No, because we have live bark here, he's kind of wearing them down when he crawls around.
Yeah.
If we did, you know, it wouldn't be a great process because it's going to be a Dremel or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Their bones grow so far in through those claws.
Yeah.
It's not really just like they have nails.
Oh, okay. Hi, buddy. No.
You may get here next time you have your camera, I'll get a picture for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you can get really close to him if you want. He's not. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I got a bunch of that thing for
Awesome. No.
Let me see if I can get a green bean up for him. Sometimes that's his favorite if we have any. We might be out though. No. So another cool thing that they have is the ability to survive falls. So they fall regularly, probably once a week out of the trees, and this is from like 100 feet up in the air.
Dang.
And the reason that they fall is a couple of reasons. One, sometimes they're just trying to get the freshest leaves, which are at the end of the branches, right?
Yeah.
And they're not exactly doing any physics problems. They're just like, yo, I want to eat. The other thing is either the harpy eagle lands trying to eat them, or like a big jaguar or a cat or something like that.
Yeah.
And they both go crashing down to the ground. The reason they survive is they have 46 ribs, 2 sets of 23, and all their internal organs are attached with like a connective tissue to each other and to the ribs. So like when we get in a car wreck, it's that secondary impact of our insides moving around. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
So all that helps them survive. Oh, he's feeling it. There you
Hi,
go.
buddy.
I was like, you want to get him going?
I'm gonna take a selfie.
There you go, you got it.
What's up, dude? Hi. No.
That's awesome. I'll try to cut out that clip and like make sure I post it. 'Cause it looks really awesome.
Yeah.
He's like in the perfect spot in the light too, so it
Yeah,
looks
that's awesome. Yeah, I found you guys on TikTok like probably a year ago,
good. Oh, cool.
I'd say. And Sloth's my favorite animal.
Yeah.
This is like bucket list for me right here.
Awesome.
And I found it, and we moved down here last February. So
Right.
we've been here about a year, and it's a little over a year. I was like, we have to go there, we have to go there. And I sent it to my boyfriend, and he was like, guess where we're going on your birthday? And I was like, no way.
Oh, that's cool. So where do you guys live now?
We're in Chattanooga.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're from Michigan, so.
Just had to get rid of the cold.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's great here. All this rain that we've been getting.
Oh, this is an
Awful.
unusual amount of rain.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
everybody's been saying.
Yeah. I used to live basically in North Georgia, not too far away really, only like an hour and a half, but when I moved to Chattanooga, it was like this, but even worse. And COVID had just started.
Yes.
And I had at that time was a 4-year-old daughter, so I was like, what is this place?
Yeah. Yeah, awful. Yeah, I just had a baby back in end of March. And
Yeah.
my family was here. My dad was here from Michigan, my mom was here from Alaska. And I was like, oh, you guys are gonna love it. It's great weather.
Yeah.
They all show up. It was great when the baby was born, and then the whole time everybody was here, it just rained.
Yeah, you're like, no. Which it
Yeah.
rarely really does. Like,
Yeah. Where you going, homie?
yeah.
He's
So
not
we like,
biting.
yeah, sometimes we give them a little bit of fruit, but we try not to give them too much because it basically kind of gives them the runs.
Oh.
And then we intersperse things like his biscuits, and then he gets like boiled eggs too for protein.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Well, that's cool. What they eat? Just bugs? Mostly
Leaves,
leaves?
yeah, tons of leaves. A lot of sarcopia leaves too.
Oh, okay.
So a long time ago, there would have been like giant sloths, right?
Yeah.
And those did not stay in the trees. They were down the ground and they would make tunnels.
Uh-huh.
But they're the reason that we still have a lot of avocados, because they were so big that they would eat avocados and the seeds would go through them, right?
Yeah.
And so at the ends of all their tunnels, you find all these huge groves of wild avocado trees.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Though.
Yeah, so we can thank sloths for avocados.
That's so cool.
That's cool, I mean, that's it.
I never would have known that.
Yeah, he's so thank you. I love some good pork.
Looks like he's getting ready to go to sleep here.
And a lot of people wonder, they're like, oh, like how can they just hang all day? So their relaxed state is clamped on like that, right?
Okay.
So, you know, for us, that'd be like we're just sitting there holding. It's the opposite for them.
Yeah, his eyes are closed.
And a lot of times the reason that they even close their eyes is they barely work anyway. So they have monochromacy, meaning they only see in black and white.
Okay.
And they see in a very narrow field of vision anyway.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, I can't really see anything. I feel kind of safe. I'm going to shut my eyes.
Okay.
They have a great sense of hearing and a great sense of smell.
Oh.
when they come down out of the trees to use the bathroom, you know, every 7 to 10 days, they're gonna lose that 30% of their body weight. So if you weigh like 200 pounds, imagine losing 60. That would be crazy, right? When they do that, the sloth moth crawls up on them, okay? So in the wild, they're gonna have between 100 to 200 bugs living all over them.
Yeah.
But then when they groom themselves, they get the bacteria off of their fur and they ingest that. That's how they digest their food. So if their bacteria gets out of whack, you know, you have to monitor it with fruit, maybe probiotics, and then kind of the last resort is doing a fecal transfer from another sloth because you're trying to get that healthy bacteria growing up. Yeah. A lot to it. Yeah. She's like, Mom, we come back over here now. I really want to change this to like a loop form. That way you can do like laps and not feel like he sticks.
Yeah.
They'd be like, maybe, what are you doing? You can try, whatever. Picky Flash. So picky. Just, there have even been reports of them holding their breath for like 30 to 45 minutes. Yeah, and normally I'd be like, I don't really believe that. But they also can slow their metabolism down to only like 300 calories per day, which I'm pretty sure I wake up and I burn 300 calories.
Yeah.
So if they can slow their metabolism down to that slow, as long as they're just floating, I guess I could see it.
Yeah.
Flash is like, what else you got?